Hello, Grumpy Old Fart here. I'm doing a series of videos on the Bill of Rights. I want to make them instructional because a lot of people don't know what their rights are. The Bill of Rights, for those of you who don't know, is the first 10 amendments to the U.S. Constitution, and a lot of our rights are enumerated in there, and we have to know our rights. Go back and review my videos, parts 1 and 2, Know Your Rights, parts 1 and 2, and then watch my Second Amendment video. I'm doing a follow-up to that Second Amendment video because I got a call from a friend of mine who said he wasn't real clear. The video didn't explain to him exactly what the relationship between the people and the militia. So I'm going to try to make that a little clearer in this video. All right. I'm going to read the Bill of Rights, or the Second Amendment, excuse me, and then we'll discuss it. All right. A well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, comma, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Okay. Seems pretty straightforward. So, here we go. When this was written, we didn't have the U.S. Army. We didn't have any kind of standing army. Every area, every little village and city and whatever had its own militia. So, when a threat happened, everybody basically grabbed their guns and went running. They were the militia. The militia is made up of the people. But, let me explain something here. When this was written, we were no longer at war. We had won the Revolutionary War, and we were America. We were no longer 13 colonies. We were 13 states. The original 13 states. Okay. So, why did they put this in here? Because the militia protects our way of life. A well-regulated militia. A well-regulated militia means we all have weapons, we're all well-trained, we're all versed in the same tactics. A well-regulated militia. That doesn't mean it's all legal and like that. Well, it's legal, but it's not all regulated per se. Not with legalities, but regulated as in it's well ordered. Okay. A well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state. That part is very important because our founding fathers knew that tyranny can come from any direction. It can come from a foreign power looking to invade us. It can come from our own government. Okay. And because they had just fought this war against the greatest army in the world, the Revolutionary War, they knew that people make up governments and people can be corrupted. So therefore, we needed a way to make sure our government never became tyrannical. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. We remain free because our government is not tyrannical. Okay? It's that simple. And who makes up the militia? The people. The people make it. You and me. We're the militia. So, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Because you and I make up the militia, and the militia guards against tyranny, we, as people, as members of this militia, we need to be well armed. And because our militia is supposed to protect us against this tyranny, as a group, we're supposed to do that. We have to have the same armament as the government. It's clear as the nose on your face. If we're like many on the left, they say, well, it's about muskets. Well, if all we've got is muskets and they're using M4s and grenade launchers, we're screwed. We have no chance, none. Okay? We have to have the same armament that our government's using. Period. Okay? Now, the difference between the militia and the Army and the National Guard and all that, the Army works for the federal government. The president runs the Army. The National Guard is run by the government of the state governor. That person, whoever it is, commands the National Guard. The militia is made up of the people. We're the militia. Okay? We guard against tyranny. And it could be at the state level or the federal level, either way. But we're Americans. We guard against tyranny. We are the militia. Okay. Getting back to the guns. We have to have what the government has. Right now, the government's using an M4. That's a standard arm. An M4 is essentially the same platform as an M16 back in Vietnam. The M16 in Vietnam was not a very good gun. Ask anyone. But they've made significant improvements now, and the M4 they're using now is a really, really good gun. We have to have something equivalent to that. Okay? That's the militia. Okay? And you hear the left saying, well, oh, nobody needs an AR-15. By the way, an AR-15 is the same platform as the M16 was. An AR does not mean assault rifle or automatic rifle. The company that makes it is Armalite. AR, Armalite. That's what that means. It's an Armalite 15. Okay. But, I digress. Right now, the government's using an M4, and they say, well, they don't need an AR-15. No, everybody needs an AR-15 because that's what we're using. That's what the government has. At some point in the future, the government's going to have laser guns. You know what? We need laser guns too. Period. When you hear a lefty say, well, you know, we don't need these weapons of war. Well, yeah, we do. We need whatever the government has. And the government has billions and billions of dollars. They can field a massive army. Okay? We can't do that, obviously. And you hear all of these other people say that, well, you know, there's no reason to have a fully automatic weapon. Well, yeah, there is. But I can understand the concern. Because if everybody had a fully automatic weapon, there's going to be a lot of collateral damage. I am not a fan of fully automatic weapons. Okay? But that's okay because fully automatic weapons are very heavily regulated in America. I can't go down and get a fully automatic weapon. Let me explain. You hear all these news people and political pundits saying, oh, well, I was able to go down and buy a fully semi-automatic rifle and, you know, it should be illegal. Okay. In the first place, there's no such thing as a fully semi-automatic weapon. That's a contradiction in terms. It's either fully automatic or it's semi-automatic. It can't be both. You can't have a black-white car. You can have a car that's two-tone, black and white. But you can't have a black-white car. If you mix black and white, you get gray. Okay? As far as paint goes, you get gray. So, you can't have a black-white car. You cannot have a fully semi-automatic weapon. They're lying to you. They're lying to you on purpose. Because they have an agenda. Okay? They're trying to push the agenda of the leftist politicians who want to take away our guns. There was a Democratic debate the other day. And every damn one of them, there's 20 of them. Every damn one of them raised their hands and said, yeah, if we get elected, we're going to take away their guns. Every single one of them did that. Every single one of them. What's the only reason a politician wants to take away guns? Is because he knows that what he's going to do when he gets elected, nobody's going to like. You're not going to like what he does. And without guns, we can't object. Period. Defense against tyranny. That's the whole purpose of the Second Amendment. They know that. Okay? You cannot enslave people with weapons. First thing you do if you're going to make slaves out of someone is take away their weapons. Okay? I've said this before and I'll say it again. That's the only reason a politician wants to take your guns. If he's afraid of people with guns, that means he's afraid they don't like what he's going to do. Okay? So, fully semi-automatic. It's a bull-faced lie. I'm gonna explain the difference right now so everybody knows. A semi-automatic rifle, you pull the trigger and hold it down. Hold that bad boy down. One bullet comes out. Bang! You're holding that thing down. Nothing else happens. One shot. Okay? Now, fully automatic. A fully automatic weapon. Just like a machine gun. Round after round after round comes out until the magazine is empty. Okay? That's a fully automatic weapon. There's a huge difference between the two. You can either be semi-automatic or full automatic. I have a revolver. Bang, 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 bang. I have an AR-15 semi-automatic rifle. Bang, 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 bang. Okay? Same concept. One bullet per trigger pull. And you can hold that trigger down and nothing else is happening. Okay? Now, it is possible for an American citizen to get a fully automatic weapon. But let's discuss what has to happen. In order to buy a fully automatic weapon, you have to have a Class 3 license. A Class 3 license. Okay? They're very expensive. They cost a lot. There's a background check that's something akin to them crawling up your asshole with a microphone with a magnifying glass. You got to pass a rigorous background check. It's not, it's not the DMV. They really go after you. And there's a third prohibitive cost that people don't discuss. It's called ammunition. For those of you who are gun owners, you understand ammunition's getting expensive. Anything other than, even 22 is getting expensive, but anything bigger than a 22 is enormously expensive. Okay? So, fully automatic weapons, they tear through ammo. They just tear right through it. Okay? So if you have a 30-round magazine, now an M4 will fire, according to the manufacturer's specs, if I'm not mistaken, something like, 600 rounds a minute. So if you have a standard 30-round magazine, you have to make 20 magazine changes. Well, 19 because you got one in. So, 19 magazine changes to get 600 rounds out of that bad boy. All right? That's a lot of ammunition, and that's all gone in 1 minute. All right? Ammunition is expensive. Okay? Now, in order to get this Class 3 license, you have to buy the ammunition for this whatever fully automatic weapon you want to get. And ammunition being as expensive as it is, it's going to tear through that ammo. 600 rounds is a lot of damn bullets. Okay? And if you're going to use that kind of firepower at the range or in competition or whatever, you have to be able to afford it. Okay? I can't afford a fully automatic weapon. I can't do it. I simply don't make enough money. However, there are people who do, and they can afford it, and that's cool. If they can pass that rigorous background check, okay, and pay for that Class 3 license, bully for them. Good job. I can't do it. I'm a broke old fat man. I can't do it. Now, you hear these people say, well, there's no reason why anybody should have an AR-15. Well, yeah, there's plenty of reason. The government has them, therefore we need them. Period. Because we're the militia. The militia defends against tyranny. We have whatever the government has. Right now, the government's using that M4. AR-15 is the AR-15 is a good rifle, really good rifle. It uses the same platform as the AR-15, or as the M4. It's the same platform, same M16 platform, and it's a good gun. No matter what caliber you get in it, it's a really good gun. And we need whatever they have. Okay. Now, I'm gonna move on to something else I'm gonna explain to you some of these leftist lies that are coming out here about what we need as Americans. Okay. I was watching an interview with Bill Maher, and he had Darrell Issa on his show. And Darrell Issa is a good guy. He was arguing for the Second Amendment. Bill Maher was arguing against the Second Amendment. And Bill Maher's argument, as asinine as it is, says, this is what he said. He said the Second Amendment is obsolete because the government, the Army, has planes, tanks, and nukes. And everybody got a big laugh out of that. Okay. Man's a comedian. He's not a political pundit. Let's discuss how stupid that comment is. If the government comes at us with tanks, and we have our AR-15s, or whatever gun you prefer, but I'm going to use AR-15 as an example. If the government comes at us with tanks, we can mount a reasonable defense. There's with some ingenuity, some improvised explosives, that kind of thing. We might. It ain't going to be great, of course, but we could mount a reasonable defense. Airplanes are a different critter. One A-10 Warthog with one strafing run can take out probably 6 blocks. They've got a big cannon on the front of that thing that's designed to take out tanks, and it'll mow through buildings, and it's devastating. If you haven't seen it, go to YouTube and Google, look up a video on the A-10 Warthog and just watch it. It's awe-inspiring. It's awesome. It's a wonderful airplane. Unless you're on the receiving end of that big cannon, then we're going to have problems. So, that being said, what Bill Maher fails to realize is the people driving those vehicles and airplanes, the pilots and the tank drivers, those are American citizens. Those are American soldiers. Those American soldiers have taken an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Now, I know all about that oath because I took it. All right? When those, and here's another thing you got to understand. A lot of those people driving those vehicles and flying those planes, a lot of them are NRA members. So, yeah, they have the same opinions and ideas that I do, at least a lot of them. So, when a soldier gets an order to murder civilians, what does he do? Well, it's an unlawful order. So this is according to the protocols. What he's supposed to say is, "Sir, I respectfully refuse to obey that order because it's an unlawful order." That's what he's supposed to do. Okay, "Sir, I was just following orders." That doesn't cut it no more. Okay, then they know that. Okay, so that eliminates the planes and tanks because most of them are with us. Now let's talk about the really asinine one. Okay, the nukes. He said that the Second Amendment is obsolete because the government has nukes. Well, guess what? Let's look at the NRA. Well, let's just look at gun owners. There's about 100 million of us in America, at least. There's about 100 million of us. The NRA and their like-minded groups have about 20 million to 30 million members, if I'm not mistaken. My numbers may be a little off, but it's something like that. Say hypothetically, say it's 10 million. Okay? So let's hypothetically say there's only 10 million. And these 10 million people are spread throughout the entire United States and in every city. Where are they going to drop the first nuke? That's a good question. It's an important question. Because the first time a nuke drops on Dallas, or Atlanta, Georgia, or San Francisco, or Los Angeles, or New York City, or Mankato, Minnesota, or wherever, I guarantee you there's going to be a whole hell of a lot more than 10 million. Because good, like-minded, solid Americans are going to be lined up to get rifles. So say the government becomes tyrannical, and with one of these groups, one of these watchdogs groups, they send out the bat signal and we all grab our rifles and run out there and a nuke falls. There's going to be a lot more than 10 million of us. There's going to be a lot more than 100 million of us. Okay, Americans ain't going to put up with that shit. They don't put up with it. Foreign governments, you know they're not going to put up with it from our government. There's going to be problems. And it's more problems than the U.S. government can handle. Okay, they know that. There's no way anybody's dropping a nuke. An American government is going to drop a nuke on American soil. It's not going to happen. Okay, Bill Maher's an idiot. Everybody knows he's an idiot, and he just proved it. He knows nothing about the situation. He's a comedian. He's out there to get laughs. Period. Okay? Why anybody bothers to... Okay, I'm going to throw Bill Maher a bone. I agree with him on two items. The First Amendment and Islam. That's it. Other than that, he's wrong on virtually every count. Okay? Now, I'm not trying to say that I'm a know-it-all or I know everything, but I know that. Okay? So, to recap all of this, the militia is made up of people. The people of the United States. Therefore, the people have to have their guns. Period. Because the militia guards against tyranny, we have to be equally armed to the weaponry that the tyrants would have. The tyrants could very well be our own government. So we have to have weapons roughly equivalent to what they have at some point in the future. Right now they got the M4s. We should have something equivalent, and the AR-15 is a good copy of that. It's a pretty good gun. In the future, if they have laser weapons, we need those too. Period. Okay. Now, I don't know how else to describe that. So I don't think I can make it any clearer. We're the militia. You and I. Whoever's watching this, you and I. We're the militia. Okay? We're the guardians against tyranny. We are. The Second Amendment is there so that should our government become tyrannical, we can fix it. Period. It's that simple. Okay? So when you hear these political people, the politicians and all that saying, well, you know, there's no reason anybody needs an AR-15. It's a weapon of war. Yeah, that's why we need it. Because they have it. Well, I don't understand why anybody needs a fully semi-automatic weapon. Well, I'm not a big fan of the fully automatic weapons, but semi-automatic weapons are great. Okay, I have several of them and they work real good. My point is, everybody needs to be armed. Period. Go back and review my video on the Second Amendment. If you don't have a gun, get one. Get something you're comfortable with. Make sure it's legal. Don't break the law. Practice with it. Take a gun safety course. Be safe. All right? That's about all I got. I hope that made it very, very clear. And y'all have a nice day. God bless one and all.